Hey everybody, Ali Craig here. On this week's episode of Brand Mastery, let's talk about, your brand experience marketing strategy. So this is where we're really beginning to sell to the onlookers. And you have to understand that you have many different levels of, onlookers. You have people who are just kind of at the walls, basically kind of glaring at you, not really sure. They're trying to hide behind the tree, the bush, or somebody else. They don't want to be seen quite yet. And then you have more intimate groups as they move forward and connect with you. So the truth is, though, is that your brand experience, just like the impressions you make, happen long before you ever consciously are aware that that person is there. So we need to make sure that everything that you're putting out there is actually building towards your actual brand experience. So this is part neurohuman branding, part impression management. We need to make sure that everything we're putting out there, social media posts, visually, verbally, all of that, even just you in general. What if someone sees you freaking out on the highway because the traffic is pissing you off? Does that moment, does that impression that you just made, does that actually reflect what your brand's about? Yes, in today's society, it is 24/7 and personal and professional all blend together. So you need to make sure that you are always having a brand that's truly authentic to you and your brand experience. And honestly, that all ends up creating the marketing strategy for you. Kate Spade, God bless her soul, felt like in the end that she couldn't be truly who she was because she had built a brand that was happy and joyful and gleeful. And there were sides to her personality that weren't happy, joyful, and gleeful. And even though she sold the company, even though she changed her name, she did all of these things to try to separate herself from the brand she built. Society knew her as Kate Spade. And she felt like if she came out with the truth about how she really was, that there was this not so happy, not so gleeful side to her personality, that then she would destroy the company and the lives and everyone else that was, making their livelihoods and supporting their family from this brand. We don't want to have that happen for you. So we have to make sure, we have to stop and make conscious effort that your overall brand experience from the unknown phase all the way through they've already worked with you and they're kind of evolved past you, but you're still kind of friendly phase, all speaks to what you're about as a person, as a brand, and can really support the truth of who you are and the reality of life. The reality of life is that everything's perfect and not everything's rosy. And sometimes you curse and sometimes you're not so put together. But you have to make sure that if someone would catch you in those moments, that it still makes sense to your brand. Because I travel a lot, I always kind of think of it in a travel perspective. Whereas if someone would see me sitting at an airport, does my current impression of how I'm dressed, of how I'm holding myself, how I'm acting, support the brand that I'm building? And you know what? Sometimes I don't think it does. Sometimes I think I feel a little schleppy because I've just been on a red eye and I don't feel like I'm as put together as I would really want to be if someone would approach me and say, "Hey, are you Ali Craig?" We have to think of these moments because though it may seem vain, the truth is somewhere, somehow, someone's going to see you and they're going to be like, "Oh, I'm so excited to meet you." And we want you as the brand, as the face, to be just excited to meet and greet your audience. And to do that, we have to make sure that we have a great brand experience from all the way from the unknown side of life all the way through. And that requires you, online and offline, real world and online world, to make sure that all the pieces truly reflect a holistic version of what this brand is about. So yeah, we're selling both sides of the coin here. We're selling the good, we're selling the struggle, and we're selling where you can be. That's where we're going. Inspiration and a little bit of, work along the way. It's not always pretty, but in the end, it gets you the result. And that's what we're always focusing on. And that is how you create an amazing brand experience that can be part of your marketing strategy.